Welcome to Red Card Banter TV for your pre-match reaction and discussions. All right, Tottenham, one of the better clubs, one of the big clubs, but also terrible in the transfer market. And I think I've made my feelings very clear on my views on the transfer market, as have various other Tottenham fans. I don't think there's a single Tottenham fan out there who is happy with their transfer window. But as of this recording, Xavi Simons, hands up. We don't know. We're putting in the bids. Players willing to come, apparently, but we've seen the ITKs be very, very unreliable when it comes down to it. Even the big ones. Well, not unreliable. It's just the other clubs are doing a much better job at approaching their transfers with a level of ruthlessness that I wish our chairman had. His risk appetite is very low, but it is what it is. And I think Thomas Frank is going to make things happen, and this is where we're going to get to our upcoming game. Tottenham versus Bournemouth. And Irola, great manager. Highly attacking, very, very focused on possession, quick transitions, vertical tiki-taka, fast-paced moves. So we've seen that with Liverpool, with Semenyo going up against Liverpool and scoring two. Brilliant piece of individual quality. But, look, Tottenham, this is no longer the Ange Postecoglou era where we invert our fullbacks and go gung-ho right into the enemy pitch and stay there and try to score more than they can score on us. We're balanced. We're cleaner. We're more disciplined in all the phases of play thanks to the Thomas Frank. And we know Thomas Frank has only had a handful of games in the Tottenham badge. And I must say, and I think we can all agree, it was extremely impressive. Extremely. So one of the main things that we're going to talk about today is how we're going to proceed to set up against this team. So one of the things that we're going to look at is the idea that maybe we go heavy, right? Try to amass as many points while giving rest for a few key players. And I think we kind of noticed that against Burnley, where we didn't play Palhinha. And I think Palhinha is going to be a big match star and a big match anchor that's going to sit in front of that defense, provide a shield, and allow those fullbacks in Pedro Porro to push up, Spence to be a little bit more free in his activity. So I think Palhinha probably might not start for this game. I think we're going to see a nice little pivot with Bentancur and Pepe Sarr. I do not think we're going to do Gray and Sarr and Berryval like we did at the Burnley game. Bournemouth are of a higher caliber with an extremely high potent offense. I think we need a little bit of bite in that midfield, and Bentancur is slowly getting back to that pre-ACL level of performance, which I think everybody deserves to see, because that man is class. He's just silk on the ball. When you watch him play, the game moves at a certain pace, he moves at a certain pace, but then the game quickly adjusts to his pace. He's really good at that tempo control. And obviously, this is the lineup that I think we're going to put out. I think it's going to be a 4-2-3-1, which seems to be working very well for us with that highly advanced 10 who can literally just pressure the opposition's build-up play. And Bournemouth are a build-up team. Let's not get it twisted. They are not a long ball team. They like to play off from the back, and they like to hit those vertical transitions fast and strong. So I think this is the team that's going to be set up to help combat that level of tactical efficiency and efficacy that Irola tends to employ. So going from the goalkeeper, I think Vicario has to be in there. I think we're going to use Kinski mostly for those early cup games. And I do think that Kinski might not be as good as a goal stopper as Vicario. And I feel like if you're going to be defensively sound, you need a goalkeeper who's extremely strong on his reflexes and stopping capabilities. Of course, we are also looking at the fact that Vicario is a little lacking in that ball control department. And we saw him almost give up a goal against City, which would have been catastrophic, because Manchester City they're sharks. The moment they smell blood, they'll go in, they'll just win that duel at that point. So luckily we survived it. I think one of the main things that we're going to be end up looking at is Kinski will probably show up in those other games with a little bit lesser opposition, slowly build up his confidence, and I really do hope Vicario and Kinski are learning off each other. Then we go to Pedro Porro and Spence at our fullbacks. We're so weak in the fullback department. We're so weak, and I think these two are going to be there for the foreseeable future until until Destiny Udogie comes back. And I still don't think Destiny Udogie is going to take that spot from Spence, because Spence, what a player. The resurgence this kid has to be almost sold to Girona and then to come back, fight for a spot, and then get a multitude of contracts in quick succession because his skill level has been... This is a kid that has matured, and his maturity is showing on the pitch, and his competitiveness, his arrogance, everything is working for him right now. When he goes one-on-one, I feel safe. I feel very safe, and that's nothing to detract from Destiny Udogie. I think Destiny Udogie is a monster in his own right. Sure, he had a little bit of a dip in form early last season, but let's be honest, with all those injuries and pressure and defensive being pushed to their back legs, it was a problem. It was a problem, and I think and I think Spence really stepped up, and I think Udogie's going to have to fight super hard to get back into it. Pedro Porro, in my opinion, one of the best attacking right backs in the league, especially after Trent has left to Madrid. Amazing passer of the ball, amazing striker of the ball, and an extraordinarily good going forward. Little liable defensively, which is why we have seen Kudus come back to defend. But we'll get to Kudus as we go through the lineup. Central defenders, Romero, Van de Ven, one of the better partnerships that we have at the club, and probably one of the better partnerships in the Premier League. Romero, decisive, passing genius. He can split the ball between the defensive lines. It's just amazing player. He brings forth that aggression, the leadership through the captaincy, well-deserved captaincy, of course. I think him and Van de Ven are going to become that brick wall that's going to prevent those fast transitions and kill them in their early build-ups. They'll be good. And Van de Ven's pace, obviously, man's lightning quick. I think he posted the fastest sprint record in the entire Premier League. Extraordinarily quick, tall, powerful on the ball. His defense is getting better and better and better. And I did worry that once Ange left and Frank employs a much more stable back four, is Van de Ven's pace going to be kind of like the papering over the cracks? Maybe his defensive abilities aren't as good as it was shown under Ange, because all he had to do is sprint down the line, get the ball, and obviously 10 out of 10, right? Like, he's incredible. I think in this situation, I think Van de Ven is showcasing his defensive talents, and I'm pretty sure most of us are pleasantly surprised at how good he is at defending those 1v1s, how good he is at defending and anticipating various shots. I mean, we saw him have a crucial block in that City game, and I think Van de Ven is really showing the world that he can be up there with the elites. And I genuinely think his particular physical abilities is already up there with the elites. Like, to have a defender that can run faster than the opposition's attackers and just shut down attacks, it's just incredible. Moving on to the midfield, our classic double pivot, Bentancur and Pepe Sarr. Not much needs to be said. Bentancur, silk on the ball, amazing ball winner, can drive the ball up, great carrier, can pass it, can receive it under pressure, can catch it on the half turn and progress play. Very good at anticipation, very good at working in that triangle between Romero, Van de Ven, and Bentancur. Extremely reliable third man wall pass over to Pedro Porro or Spence. Pepe Sarr, amazing. Has 15, 20, 35 lungs, does not get tired, runs across the pitch, covers every blade of grass. This kid is going to be pivotal for this system. And he's already showcased so much promise in previous managers. He's going to be one of our most crucial pieces of this puzzle under Thomas Frank, because his ability to run up and down between both boxes, to strike the ball, to pressure and harass the opposition off that ball or force them into errors is incredible. And I think the team is really developing this cohesiveness and understanding how to do their attack patterns and defense patterns. Quite incredible. And I think Pepe Sarr is going to be very, very, very good, I think. And I think in this game, he does need a rest at some point. I think if we lose Pepe Sarr, and we'll lose him for the AFCON, I think the team needs to learn how to play without him. So I think there's a good chance he might get rested this game, because I don't want I don't want to put too many miles on his legs where his hamstrings or something else can get hurt because he's young. He needs to keep his body as healthy as possible so his longevity is good. But I guess on the other side, you're younger, so you can recover better. But I'd rather not lose him for any point of the season, considering our transfer window is so bleak and our squad is so thin. I don't think we can even field 24 players, considering the injuries we have, and that's barely a squad for the bench. I don't know. We'll see how it goes in the transfer market. There's a couple days left. Don't want to talk about anything. We'll probably put out a video on the post transfer window outlook on each of the teams, especially United City and Tottenham. But moving on, Kudus. Do I need to say anything? Does anyone need to say anything? Just watch the kid play. Outlet, strength, technical capability, attacking force, elite mentality, warrior mentality. This kid is unbelievable, and I think Bournemouth are going to have a hard time defending against him. After losing Kirkes, that left-hand side is going to be in for a long night, almost nightmarish. And I think Kudus is going to take them to dinner and drop them home because the man can play. The man's a bowler, and he can go up and down that wing. Like, I think that's what we missed from Johnson last season. It's going to be a huge plus for us because the team is playing collectively. They're playing attack together. They're playing defense together. They're working super duper hard, and Kudus is that beautiful outlet that is spearheading most of these attacks. He's gonna be fantastic. I mean, I still don't think we've seen the best of him. I think Kudus is still learning the team, still learning the positions and movements of the other players. But this kid is gonna be a star. This kid is already a star, and he's gonna become an even bigger star for us. 25 years old, still so very young, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad that this transfer window has at least this bright spark in Kudus. Berryval, huge aspirations for this kid. Tottenham's player of the year last season, had an incredible second half, bossing the midfield, controlling the midfield, can play up and down that 8 and 10 position. There might be a future where I think Bergval will become the 10 or can play in the 10, and I think he should play in the 10. He's incredible. The ceiling is too high. 19 years old. I think 20. He might be 20 now, but yeah, I think he's going to have a great game against Bournemouth. I mean, let's be honest. Bournemouth has been ravaged by the transfer market, so I don't think they're as good as they were last season, but you can't put anything past Irola. Odebert. Young, fast, 1v1 specialist, direct, touchline winger, finally fits that role. He was injured for a long portion of last season. I think we missed him out. We missed him a lot. And I think this season he's going to have a very, very strong season. And I do not think we're going to play Brendan Johnson this game. I think we're going to trust in some of those younger talents that we have. And I think he's going to have a nice little field day on that right-hand side. He loves to get at it. Decision-making could improve. And I feel like once he makes that improvements, it's going to open up that space a lot for the attackers and the middle third of play. In the final third, he's going to, he's good. Like we saw him. He spun Rodri. Spun Rodri in circles. And of course, Rodri's just coming back. He's very rusty, let's be honest. A fully fit Rodri who's, not rusty would probably shut him down. But it's nice to see this young kid go up against a Ballon d'Or winner and perform well. Richarlison. Richie. Brazilian's number 9. Hopefully, at least. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be, but I think he's been impressive. He's a nuisance. He's a pest, and he has a goal scoring instinct when he does get the shot off. Scores great goals. I just wish his goal scoring ability was a little bit more frequent, and I think we're all very surprised that he managed to take that starting spot from Solanke. There might be a chance that Solanke starts because he is going up against Bournemouth, his old team. But I think it's so crucial that we collect as many points as possible. This by no means that Solanke is bad. I think Solanke's height, aerial presence, strength, and speed are going to be super useful against Bournemouth's team. It's just, I just feel like you can't drop Richie right now, right? Richie's a confidence player. You need to keep him playing. You need to keep him going. We saw that in the month of September, he scored 10 goals in 10 matches or something like that. Like, once he's high in confidence, you know Richie's going to perform. I think Solanke would love to play, and I think he will from the 68th minute because, again, we do need to rest Richie. He is injury prone, so we need to keep him protected. And Thomas Frank did say that he wants to protect Richie a little bit. But I think this is the team for Bournemouth, and I do believe that we're going to do well. We're going to do super duper well against Bournemouth, only because I mean, all faith in Thomas Frank. He knows how to set up against teams, and these are teams he's played before. This isn't a manager who's come from Serie A or Bundesliga or La Liga, you know, to the Premier League and is playing all these teams and these managers for the first time. Thomas Frank has experience against these managers. He has a playbook against these managers. He has a playbook against these teams, and I'm sure, being the tactical mind that he is, he's already studied them. He's had a full week to prep, and just like City, just like Burnley, just like PSG, the man learns from the weak points of his game, and he knows how to fix it up. I think he's going to be fantastic. So I think we're going to do well against Bournemouth. I would love to see us gather 3 points at Bournemouth. I think we need to collect as many points as we can in the early seasons before the Champions League comes up and we're down to 3 games a week. Inevitably, injuries are going to pile up. Inevitably, people are going to get tired, and we just don't have the squad depth. Tottenham always perform very well early in the season. They do, right? Even under Ange in the first 10 games, pretty much looked like we were going to win the league. We weren't going to, obviously, and I'm not delusional to think that. It's just we performed so well up to that Chelsea game, and then we got red card injury, and we fell apart. Our depth is going to be our downfall. Again, a couple more days left in the transfer window. Fingers crossed. Hopefully something happens. Otherwise, we'll see a very angry reaction from my side. I'm usually pretty level-headed. Yeah, but this is the team going forward. So we're gonna see how the team has done with each other. So I think we have a good chance. Now let's go into the head-to-head. Bournemouth, Tottenham. Last 5 games. Let's also be honest, these were under Ange. So, and Bournemouth are also gung-ho style like Ange. So it was nice to see such high-scoring games from, and especially in terms of goals, right? 3-3 tie, 0-2 to Bournemouth, 3-1 to Tottenham, 1-0 to Bournemouth, 2-2 tie. The way it's looking, it seems like we're either headed to like a tight tie game, if you want to take the head-to-head as any sort of information on the history. But I think Thomas Frank does change the things, and I think being more defensively astute and Bournemouth being ravaged, I think we're going to have a very strong performance against them, and I hope we do. And I hope we get out of this without any injuries. I really hope we get out of this without any injuries, and have a clean game, simple game, control it from the top to bottom. You know, don't make anything more complicated than it needs to be. But again, I feel like that's where Thomas Frank is going to be very, very crucial for that. And we saw that against the City game when Brendan Johnson cut in from the left and took a wild shot into the stadium when Pepe Sar was right there to receive the pass for a cross, for a ground crossover across the face of goal. You can see Thomas Frank freaking out. He's just like, he's a percentage guy, right? He's an XG optimizer. And he's a data-driven coach. So he wants to take shots from very specific areas of that box or take specific passes from specific locations to another location that has the highest chance of success. The level of detail, I think, is going to be very crucial for us. In Ange, we played a little bit more fluid, a little bit more free-flowing, you know? Like if you vacated a space, you filled that space. If you saw a space, you forgot your role and you were just supposed to be a footballer. You're supposed to push ahead. I think what happened there was you needed very, very tactically high IQ players, and also you needed no injuries for that play style. So I think some of these losses and performances can be attributed to that because our defense was so leaky. And I think under Thomas Frank, we've had 2 clean sheets already, and a clean sheet against such a high octane offensive team like Manchester City. I think we're more than capable of handling Bournemouth. I think if you're going up against Haaland, Marmoush, and Cherokee, and Foden, and Silva, and all these guys, you're going to come up against, Semenyo. Semenyo is their most dangerous attacker, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna man mark him out of the game, hopefully. And I think that's what Thomas Frank is gonna do. Thomas Frank loves to find those kinks in the armor and target them. I think the way it's going to be is there's a nullification factor, and then there's also an exploitation factor, right? The nullification is you take the aspects of their game that is going to unlock their entire game plan, and you immediately suffocate that out. Then while they do that, they have to adjust, and when they adjust, there becomes a weakness that they're not prepared for, and Thomas Frank is prepared for that. That's when he exploits that weakness. We saw that against City, where they took out Reinders. They completely marked him out of the game. They made him unable to progress that ball. So what happened? City were getting pinched in their own half because Reinders wasn't there to receive on the turn and progress the ball into Haaland and Marmoush. I think we're going to see the same exploitation and nullification of Bournemouth here. And I think without Kirkez, without Zebrani, I mean, God, they've lost so many people. It's just, I feel bad for them, honestly. I think fundamentally that's the worst things about being one of these smaller clubs, and it has nothing to do with that. It's just the fact that any good talent that they accrue just immediately gets poached, and you have to sell them because you need the revenue to progress your club, and it's a slow burn. And Bournemouth is a club I highly respect, and I love watching them play because Irola is incredible. And I just think this man is he's a monster. And I think Tottenham were in for him before we ended up deciding on Thomas Frank. Of course, the talk is that Daniel Levy has already had his eyes set on Thomas Frank from the get-go. I think from January itself, when he attempted to sack Ange, if you believe the reports, and the players kind of went against it. He was in the running, and when you watch Bournemouth play, you see a team. There's a tactical astuteness about them that didn't reflect the player quality that they had. If Irola had a team, say Manchester United, right? I think that would be a scary team to go up against. It is gung ho, but Irola knows his flaws. He knows the weaknesses in such a high tempo gameplay, and he has patches for it. He knows how to make sure those weaknesses aren't exploited so easily. And I think Irola is going to come with that game plan. Irola is not a weak manager. He's not a inexperienced manager. He's highly tactically astute. I think we're about to see high octane defense versus high octane offense versus a structured defense, and we'll see who comes out on top. Obviously, I'm a Tottenham fan, so I want Tottenham to school Bournemouth, but I also respect Bournemouth, and I highly admire and respect Irola. He was one of my favorites to take over the Tottenham job once Ange was sacked. Of course, I'm very happy Thomas Frank. Very good manager, loves to occupy the midfield, loves to hit the ball towards the center, crowd it, and then have very strong and explosive executes in that final third. Semenyo can easily influence that game, which he did. I mean, he did it up against a very strong Liverpool team and scored 2 goals. It's going to be very scary watching the game plan that Irola has to unlock Semenyo against Tottenham's defense. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to hit that left-hand side where Porro's defending, probably like maybe bring Semenyo a little bit more inward towards that side and do an asymmetrical overload, and then try to get a few crosses in across the face of goal or over the top. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it's going to play out. And I think Bournemouth are a very tough team. Even in their weakened state, they're a very tough team. I think we saw that against Liverpool. If it wasn't for Liverpool's extremely good depth and quality, like, they lost. But I mean, it's only so often that you can go up against Gakpo, Mohamed Salah, and all these guys, and hope to win. And again, gung ho style. So I think we're going to see a lot of space creation and transitional attacks from Tottenham against Bournemouth. I think we're going to allow Bournemouth to push up, thin out their defensive numbers in the effort to pump everyone forward, because we know they're very attacking oriented. Try to steal the ball and then just boot it out to our fast runners in Kudus, Odebert, Richie. And I think we're going to see Berryval and Sar try to man mark some of the oppositions out of their ability to pass the ball and try to win the ball up. And I think when they try to do their build-up play, we're going to do what we did against City. Just rush, just chase after that ball, force them to kick it long and win those second balls, which is a very, very good hallmark of Thomas Frank's system. The other good thing is Bournemouth no longer have Ilya Zebrani, because I think we can hurt them on those set pieces. Thomas Frank's Brentford team were also one of the best at set pieces, and I think we're starting to see those effects in the Tottenham setup during set pieces and free kicks and all that stuff. So I think we're looking at two very good managers go up against each other, two very good managers who've gone up against each other in the past. So it's going to be a mix of how well Tottenham's defense handle the onslaught of waves of attack that Bournemouth will probably and inevitably will do. They're not going to play slow. They're not going to play methodical. They're not going to give you time to think, oh, the ball's going to go back and forth here and then suddenly go forward. They're just going to go bang, 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 and then try to get that ball into that final third as quickly as possible. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how it's going to pan out. And it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. And I think one of the main stars who's going to very impact this game is Jed Spence. I think Jed Spence is going to be crucial in this game because it's not only his ability to just be very good at 1v1 defending, it's also his ability to carry the ball. And I feel like if Bournemouth are going to do this asymmetrical overload on that left-hand side towards Porro, there's going to be a ton of space for Jed and Odobert to have a nice little link-up where I think we're going to switch the ball, and Spence with his pace and Odobert with his trickiness are going to be able to exploit that entire defensive line over there where they can quickly get crosses or shots off from that side. And I think very, very, very quickly, Bournemouth are going to have to adapt and push a few players to kind of cover that Spence and Odobert line. And that's where Porro is going to have the space to start whipping in passes. And I think initially those first 15-20 minutes, we're going to see a lot of pressure towards Porro, Romero, Bentancur, if Bentancur is playing on that side. And I think if we can withstand that onslaught and Spence gets a few free runs on that right-hand side and Odobert gets a few free runs into that box and ability to hopefully the goal is Spence gets the ball, drives it up, pass up to Odobert. Odobert, does his thing, gets the ball to Richie or Berryval or even himself and gets a shot off. Because we know what's going to happen, right? We know that Kudus is going to take a lot of attention. There's no team who's coming up against Tottenham thinking, oh yeah, let's just let Kudus have a nice 1v1. They'll double up on him now, I think. They're going to start having a plan against him. That is where our left winger needs to be able to influence the game heavily enough that Bournemouth cannot do that, which is why Tottenham in the market were looking for a very strong left winger, such as Savio, right? And if we got Savio from City, and I recently found out that Semenyo is his nickname and Savio is his actual name. So out of respect for him, calling him Savio, it would have been amazing because Kudus can impact. They'll try to double up, bam, bam, two passes, and now Savio has a 1v1. So what can Bournemouth do? They would have to put both players on both players, and that would open up the space. Now every one of our forward line has one defender on them. The problem right now is Odobert is tricky. So I think in those 15-20 minutes early in the game, Spence and Odobert have to have a near flawless game to have Bournemouth respect them. And once they do, the game is open. And I think this boy right here, Jed, Resurgence, I think he should be a story of inspiration to anybody out there. To be so close to exiting the club because they didn't believe in him to now becoming our starting left back. It's not even his original position. This is his weak position, and the man is taking it by the horns and making it his own. He's undroppable. I love watching him play, and I think anytime the ball goes to a defender on that side, I'm calm. I can't say the same for Porro. If the ball goes to Porro's side, I'm a little stressed. But similarly, when the ball is on Porro's feet and he has access, calm. When the ball is on Jed's feet, a little nervous that he might mess up a little bit, but. Pros and cons of both players. But I think he's going to be extremely crucial in those first 15 to 20 to really open up that game, to make that game plan that Bournemouth have, to nullify it. And I think that's going to be hugely and highly important. So that's going to be a fun way to look. But of course, we can't forget about one of the main stars of Bournemouth. This kid, dangerous, quick, strong, technical, goal scorer. He's our target. He's the guy we have to nullify, and Romero and Van de Ven have a task on their hands because I don't understand how he didn't get a move. And I take that back. I do understand. Bournemouth can't just sell out all of their main players. And I think Semenyo is going to be a. They did a good job. They did a good job keeping Semenyo because he's going to be very crucial for them and their aspirations this season. And I do think that their aspirations are going to be to stay afloat and stay in that 9th to 14th position, because again, they've been ravaged by that transfer market, and it's so sad to see that such a good team, such good talent can instantly lose everybody in the summer. But we've been there, right? As Tottenham, we've been there. We've been a developmental club for a few years. We lost some incredible players. If you take all the players that we've given up and brought them back in, that's a world-class starting 11. That's a Champions League treble winning 11 with Bale, Modric, Kane, Sonny, Kyle Walker. It's incredible. And I think we're gonna see that happen to many clubs going forward. There's so much money in the Premier League. There's so much money around the world, especially with these TV rights and all. Players are just getting bought up. The Saudi money. All these really good players are going to get stolen from these clubs, so they won't have them for 1, 2, 3 years even before they get sought after. And I hope Bournemouth can keep this boy for as long as they can. And I know Bournemouth fans are in love with him and they would love to keep him for as long as possible. But there's a good chance, even though he's tied to a new contract, that even next season, teams like Arsenal, Liverpool, City might go after him. Even Tottenham as well, because we were in talks with them before we went and signed Kudus. Thank God, right? And when we lost Bumo and Semenyo, and I thought, man, Kudus had such a terrible season last season, like with West Ham, but then we got him, and never been so happy to be wrong. And obviously I'll get things wrong, right? Everyone's human. I'm not here saying that what I'm saying is 100% accurate or not, but I'm also still trying to learn the tactical aspects of the game on a deeper level so I can bring forth better content for you guys. But going forward, I think that's going to be one of those things that we're going to see between everybody. But let's see. And I think we're going to notice most of those changes between these two. I think there's going to be a significant amount of changes for Tottenham, a few changes for Bournemouth. I think everyone's just trying to get as many points in those early few weeks, except for United, of course. I'm going to get destroyed in the... Well, I won't. I'll just get yelled at during the Red Car Banter panel show with the rest of us. But score prediction, I would like to say 2-0. I think that's a safe bet. Totally forgot what I predicted in the previous episode, in episode 2, but hey, I'm saying 2-0 now. And let's say I want to see Kudu score a goal, and I think Richie will get one. Well, thanks for joining me for the Red Car Banter TV match preview between Tottenham and Bournemouth. I think we're in for a great game, very high octane game. It won't be boring, that's for sure. And I just want to say, I know people think Thomas Frank is a pragmatic manager, but if you watched him play Brentford in the Championship, the man's originally an attacking-based manager. He had to shift his tactical style to a more pragmatic style to survive that first year with Brentford. Second year became a little bit more hybrid, and that third year, I think he slowly started transitioning to more attacking football. And we're about to see Tottenham showcase that attacking nous that I think teams aren't ready for. That's where Thomas Frank is good, tactical flexibility. But yes, thank you all for joining Tottenham Hotspur versus Bournemouth pre-match show, and I hope to see you guys for episode 3 of the match week, and I think we'll have a lot of fun. Please look out for more content on the channel. We're setting up more and more advancements in our understanding of editing and YouTube and all that stuff. But thank you all so much. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.